Hello there, my name is Natural Bear, and welcome to episode 2 of Resident Evil 2 Let's Play. Of my Resident Evil 2 Let's Play. That's a good start. Yes. So where we last left off, of course, we're kind of in the shit in this police station. Things have not gone well. It appears the police officers lost the fight with the monsters very badly. And so we're in the situation we're in now where there's barely any survivors and everyone's dead. Good times. Let's be moving on. As much as I'd like to stay in the save room forever and listen to that music, unfortunately we have a job to do. I'm going to go around here just to show this door. It is locked. Diamond key. So that's why I didn't go through it, for obvious reasons. Also this window. Bad feelings about that window. Don't know why. Cough, Resident Evil 3. Let's go up the stairs. Bit of a spoiler there for you, but oh well. What can you do? So welcome to the second floor. We're finally here. I say finally. Didn't take us long, but that's not the point. On the left here we have a door, but we can't go through it. As you can see, it's been kind of battered. And we have an interesting little statue here. The god of sun, the god of moon, their gaze can release red soul. Yeah, pretty simple puzzle. Basically the two statues to the side, you can push them, and they both have to face the statue in the middle. And you'll see on the floor there, you can see that little brown tile. That's where the statues go, basically. It's really not a simple, or it's not a difficult puzzle, sorry. It is a simple puzzle. So, there we are. Have I pushed this statue too far? Did I actually just do that? No, I didn't. Okay, good. I would have been very upset. Something that's always annoyed me. This puzzle completes, but look, the statue's not quite on the tile. I don't know why, but that's always irritated me slightly. Very unhappy, Capcom. But yeah, it's a pretty simple puzzle. It's just to get you used to the idea of pushing objects, basically. The game's early puzzles kind of all introduce a new concept, which are then furthered a little bit as the game goes on. So pretty standard but effective game design, really. And there we go. That releases the jewel. You'll notice it is exactly the same as the first one we picked up. So, also, again, behind this statue, handgun ammo. How would you know? I don't know. I think they just expected people to just keep hammering A, basically, on every single part of the environment. Which is valid, I guess. I'm going to meet what I like to call the stripper zombies here, because they're wearing those, like, policeman hats that only strippers ever seem to wear. Also, these guys have a tendency to do that. They launch themselves at your leg. Fortunately, as you saw, if someone grabs you by the leg, you basically insta-kill them, and you don't actually take that much damage. Nowhere near as much as a regular bite. So it actually works to your advantage if they do that, to be honest. Ooh, hello. STARS office. Anyone who's played the first game will know the STARS people very well. So let's go and have a look around. I guess this is where Chris, Jill and co used to hang around between missions. In here is a shotgun. So if you didn't pick it up earlier from Kendo, don't worry, there is one here. It does mean you have to get past that first licker without the shotgun, which if you're a first time player might be a problem, but it's not a big deal. This shotgun is fully loaded, which is a bonus over the Kendo one, I guess, if you're interested in one shell. But yeah, there is another shotgun. We won't take it because we've already got one. You can take it if you want another 5 shells, I guess, but there's no real need, honestly. But if you need ammo, it's there, I suppose. There is a first aid spray here, as I explained earlier. These fully restore your health, but they do affect your rank. So, kind of only use in case of emergencies thing. So whoever had this desk, it appears to be a medic of some kind. So, I'm guessing Rebecca. I don't know about you. These middle desks, that hat looks familiar, doesn't it? Blimey. And there's a picture of a dude on there. Interesting. So, yep, that is Jill's desk. So therefore this desk would appear to be Chris's, you would assume. Apparently untidy personality. There is an item on the desk. I'll be coming back to that in a second. I want to explore the rest of the office first. This desk here, lots of bits of guns lying around. He's a member of the NRA, which is kind of unfortunate because I used to like Barry. Anyway, I'm sorry, Americans. I couldn't resist. Yeah, this is Barry's desk, basically. And this head desk, therefore, must be Wesker's desk. There's a funny thing about that desk, which we'll come back to in a second. Firstly, in front of the STARS logo, there's more ammo. Again, Impossible to know it's there, but it is. And nice little Easter egg for fans here. Pictures of the Stars members. You'll see Wesker at the back with his glasses, obviously. Barry on his right. Chris on the far right, I believe. I think that's Brad in the very centre at the top. Who's that? The gentleman with the goatee, I believe, is Kenneth. In front of him with the moustache is Enrico, I believe. I have not played Resident Evil 1 in a long time, so I'm sketchy on some of the other names. Obviously, Jill is in the front with the beret. I can't remember the dude's name with the bandana. I think he dies in the opening movie, if I remember rightly. The hilariously bad opening movie from the first game. But yeah, nice little Easter egg for fans there. All the Stars members. Almost all of which are deceased. Very sad. Yeah, this desk. I'm going to speed this part of the video up. But basically, if you search this desk 50 or so times, you get an item. Because when you search it, it says someone must have searched the desk. It's a bit of a clue, right? I'm going to speed through this part of the video, so bear with me. There we go, we finally did it. We get a film, basically, so almost no reward. But we'll be looking at that in a second when we go back to the dark room. So, interesting little Easter egg, I suppose. You'd think that film would be really useful stuff, considering the effort we went to. We'll soon find out. Spoiler, it's not very useful. So there's a diary on Chris's desk. Shockingly, it's his diary. Basically, the chief refused to listen to Chris about what happened at the mansion. Unfortunately, the mansion blew up, of course, so there's no evidence. An Umbrella is such a big company that no one's willing to talk about it. August 17th was when monsters started appearing at random throughout the city. So somehow the virus got out. Jill and Barry helped Chris obtain information that Umbrella's begun work on a new virus. And they basically decided to fly to the main Umbrella HQ in Europe. So if you remember in the opening, the reason Claire's here is because she's looking for him, because she doesn't know where he is. Turns out he's not even here, he's in Europe. So there we are. And underneath the diary is this unicorn medal, which is a key item we'll be using back in the hall, if you remember, where the big statue is.
Leon!
It's good to see you're still among the living. It looks like we're not going to find your brother here after all. There's no reason for us to stay any longer than necessary. Let's split up, look for any survivors, and get out of here.
Right.
One last thing. Here's a radio. Take it. That way we can keep in touch if anything happens.
I can't believe what is happening to this city.
So it appears Claire is still alive. Unfortunately, she's going to be a bit down. You know, the whole looking for my brother thing. Now out of the window completely. So now their only goal is to escape, basically. The reason I went over there is just so, you know, she goes over to Chris's desk, which I think is a nice touch. But yeah, I love the Stars room music. It's very nice. And again, it's only used in this part of the game, which is pretty staggering. They created music, like, literally just for a very specific part of the game. It's pretty cool stuff. But yes, unfortunately we have to move on from this lovely music. And from Claire. Also, if you go back into the room, Claire's not there anymore, which is interesting. So again, this door's locked. So you have to backtrack, basically. Actually, I think there's even new music in the Stars room if you go back in, which is pretty interesting. Oh, Claire is still there. Okay. For some reason I thought she disappeared, but she doesn't. But yeah, there's new music in that room when you go back in, which is, again, they probably didn't think anyone would go back in there, but they put the music there anyway. I don't know. Very odd. Cool though. Shows an attention to detail, I guess. It's, you know, it's a nice touch. So we're going to be walking back to the hall. We're going to drop off at the dark room first to process that film we picked up. and to organise our inventory a little bit. I almost said inbox, which makes no sense. But yeah, we're going to organise our inventory a little bit. So, first things first. First aid spray we don't need right now. Don't need this just yet. We're going to put it with the other one though. I want to keep this somewhat organised, although that's a fool's errand. My item boxes in Resident Evil games always look like shit, quite frankly. As I said earlier, we can develop film here. So let's see what our reward was for clicking 50 times. Oh, it's a picture of Rebecca in a basketball outfit. I'm really happy I went to all that trouble. Yeah, that's literally all that film is. It's also ironically called Film D, which is mildly amusing for several reasons. Anyway, that's all you get, is a very pixelated picture of Rebecca in a basketball outfit. I don't know. Not even ammo or, you know, something vaguely useful. I don't know how people figured out how to find that film, because 50 times? It seems like a very excessive amount of clicks. Hello. Yeah, you want to run through here very quickly. I don't think those arms actually do any damage when they, like, fondle you, but I don't know that for sure. Don't quote me on that. If you haven't already killed the licker at this point, then going through here is going to be a pain in the arse. I neglected to look at this earlier. Basically, this is a switch for the shutters, but as you can see, the cord's been cut. So, unfortunately, we can't close these shutters, which are open to the world and the elements, which doesn't seem safe. So back to the hall. You will notice, of course, this game, a lot of backtracking. It was a conscious effort. Let's be honest. It was very much. People call it bad design. I think that's unfair. I think it's great because it lets you really connect emotionally with an actual location. I, to this day, could probably sketch, without even looking or playing the game, I could probably sketch a rough map of the police station. It wouldn't be perfect, of course, because, you know, memory. My memory is also notoriously awful. But I could probably do that, and it would be roughly accurate, because I've spent a lot of time here, not only because I've played the game a lot, but because you backtrack. So I think it lets you get to know a location better, and I think it adds more character to a game when it's done properly. Dark Souls is also another very good example of backtracking used correctly. Anyway, this is the spade key. As you can see, it's got a spade on the end, and if you check it, tells you it's a spade, and it changes to spade key. So there we go. So if we look at the map here, we'll see the spade key doors are the turquoise doors, and there's only 2 of them. So again, we're going to be going back the way we came, which is this way. The game does get... The backtracking does lessen as the game progresses. In fact, there's a few locations that's basically just a one-shot, straight the way through kind of deal. But for the most part, you are going to be, especially the police station, you're going to be seeing the same rooms quite a few times. Which again, some people would say bad design. I personally think it's brilliant. Your mileage may vary. But here we go. The first locked door, I believe, that we've unlocked. The first of many. So first things first, there's no enemies in this room, so no worries about that. There's a file here. If you click anywhere along these shelves, you get this file, basically. Not really that useful. Basically, they found a funny-looking bloke in the sewers. He ran off, and he recovered some C4, a detonator, and some ammo, and an infrared scope that was broken. Kind of foreshadowing, I guess, but not particularly useful information. There's an ink ribbon here, for some reason. You don't really need it. I'm going to take it for completionist's sake, but you don't really need it, to be honest. There's some step ladders here, and you'll see there's a crank up there. Which we can't get to yet. Obviously, we're going to be using the step ladders we just saw. But before that, we're going to take the handgun ammo that's hidden here. Again, another hidden piece of ammo that you're probably not going to even know is there. But it adds replay value, so I can't complain, really. But yeah, another very simple pushing puzzle. You just push the step ladders, climb on them. There you go. Bang. Crank. Not the Jason Statham movie, or the sequel. And that's all that's in this room, I believe. Incidentally, hidden items, or more specifically, items that I miss. If I miss any, whack them in the comments. If I've missed them, I either just forgot or I never knew they were there. There's probably not many items I don't know are there in this game. I've got to be honest. I've played it a hell of a lot back in the day. So more than likely it's just forgetfulness. But I'm interested to see if I've missed anything or if there's something that I just didn't know was there. So feel free to try and blow my mind in the comments. I would welcome it. Man, it is such a shame that this genre kind of... I mean, it's horror itself has made a comeback, but not necessarily, you know, horror, survival horror in particular. That's the genre that's really, you know, kind of not... It's pretty much died off. You don't get games like this anymore, you know, with tank controls and the whole thing. Even Resident Evil 7, great though it was, I enjoyed that game immensely. It was certainly not a tank control survival horror game. It was survival horror, but it was first person. Huge difference. It's just different design philosophy, I guess. Nice feature with this game. I'm pretty sure this was in the first game, but once the key is useless, the game lets you discard it. Don't know how Leon knows it's useless, but I think we can overlook that for the sake of streamlining things a little bit, making the game slightly more accessible. Oh, it appears to be dinner time. Yeah, there's a lot of zombies here. Usually I'd recommend running all the way through, but since this is kind of a semi-completionist sort of run, we're not going to do that. First we're going to run down here because in this little cupboard here there's shotgun shells. No, there isn't. There's handgun bullets. Why did I think there were shotgun shells? Maybe I'm thinking of like a different scenario. Anyway, there's handgun ammo. And this door, this is the door that's kind of manky in that one corridor. The one with the statues in. It's the same door, basically, which is a nice touch. Yeah, I guess we're going to get shooting. I didn't reload my gun, did I? That was a mistake. Oh, you don't want to dally too much if you're coming down here because, well... Oh, shit. This is not good. Okay. I think we're going to be in a bit of trouble here. We may have bitten off more than we can chew. The zombies were very annoying this time. They didn't stumble back at all when I shot them, which is a little bit frustrating. Damn it. Oh, shite. What the hell? Okay, if you're wondering... Oh, God. If you're wondering what just happened, my emulator decided to Alt-Tab, which wasn't good. This desk is locked. It's another small key. We'll come back to that later. The library music, it is excellent. Yeah, this is for a puzzle, this little picture you can see here. It corresponds to... I'll show you as soon as I get out of here. These bookshelves, as you can see, the picture on that plaque is mirrored above the actual bookshelves themselves. Basically, you just have to match the two pictures up, and the way to do it is move the furthest two on the left, one to the right, basically. Very simple solution. And the plate unlocks to reveal whatever that is. It is, I believe, the Bishop plug, if I remember rightly. Yes, it is. This is not going to be used for quite a while. So it's box. For now, it's what I call box fodder. You just chuck it in the box and forget about it. So feel free to get rid of it. Another red herb here. Very important. You take these. Massively useful items. Actually, before we go this way, let's go to the third floor. We saw earlier there's only 2 rooms, so we might as well have a little exploration. Why not? So firstly to the right here there's nothing, so don't go that way. And over here is the only room, which is the, I guess it's like an attic sort of thing. Did I bring the item? Yes, I did. Okay, good. Thought for a second I hadn't bought the item that I came here to use. Basically, there's a square hole on the wall, and if you examine the crank, the end is square-shaped, square crank. So this is where you use the crank. And it lowers the stairs, basically leading up to the little floor above you in this room. And for some reason, going up the stairs was incredibly difficult. Movement does get a little bit harder when you're injured. So I'll be bumping into walls and things a little bit more, so sorry in advance. It appears to be some sort of gear system. And when we press the switch, it turns the gear. But of course, there appears to be a gear missing, so it's not going to do anything as of now. And there's also a metal plate on the wall that looks like it's been moved. So as you can probably guess, the switch moves the gears and that moves the plate. But unfortunately, we don't have the gear yet, so there's not a lot we can do in this area for the time being. But I thought I would show this area off a little bit and lets me use the crank, get it out of the way. Okay, so next we're going to be heading through those double doors that you saw a second ago. Just into here. This leads to the second floor of the hall, essentially. And more zombies. More stripper zombies, more specifically. You don't have to... I hate when it does that. You don't have to kill these guys, but why not? This thing... There's nothing here. It just looks kind of cool, I guess. But it's good to explore every nook and cranny in this game, I think. Yep, that guy's dead. If you want to know whether to tell whether zombies are dead or not, basically, if the blood pools out of them like that, they're dead. That's basically the easiest way to judge. You may have noticed this red thing earlier on when we were in the hall. It's an emergency ladder. So now there's an easy way to go down to the first floor hall should you need it. I'm trying to think... Yeah, no. No, this is quite useful, actually, if you play the game the way it's intended. If you take shortcuts, then maybe not. But I can't see this fucking guy. Oh god, he's going to bite me. Do not want more stripper zombies. There we go. Again, you can run past these guys. In fact, for this last zombie, the idea is to hide in this little divot here, and then you can kind of just loop around him like that. But if you've got bullets, you don't need to run. I'm going to put that on my tombstone. That's a good way to live life. I'm sure if I send that quote to Liam Neeson, he'll be very happy to use it in his next movie. There is a glinting thing here. Yep, small key. So you remember that desk a little earlier on that we saw? We're going to go back because there's an item in there that's very useful. We'll read this first. This little diary here from a secretary of some sort. Again, just summing it up. He moved the stone statue on the second floor, the ones that we saw earlier that we used. The chief was not happy. Basically said, don't touch it ever again. He has an art collection, which is apparently rare items worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and he's getting the money to pay for these, and this guy doesn't know why. On May 10th, he bought another picture depicting a nude person being hanged, and apparently the chief was really happy with this painting, and the secretary was appalled. So it appears the chief is... Not only is he a bit of an idiot, because he kind of, displaced all the munitions like a fucking idiot. Not only that, but he appears to be a bit creepy, so it seems like a real winner of a character, this chief. Okay, like I said earlier, we don't need the plug. We don't really need the red herb either. The ink ribbons, just put it with the rest of them. And we're going to take a herb because, of course, we are injured, so we may as well just be uninjured. There we are. Reload while I'm here. We're going to use that key to backtrack. I'm probably just going to jump cut this. So, yeah, I'm going to do some sort of edit here, so we'll be back in a minute when we are back at the desk. Okay, so we're back at the desk. If you're wondering what you missed, the answer is a lot of running, like so. Yes, so this desk used a small key and a big crate. These are handgun parts. These turn your handgun into a 3-round burst weapon. So if you're first time through the game, almost invaluable. It helps you thin out zombie hordes really well. You do eat through ammo, but the way I see it, you're going to use roughly the same amount of ammo killing them anyway. This just fires the ammo faster. So it looks like you're wasting ammo. Realistically, you're just firing it quicker and more efficiently. That's the way I look at it anyway. I don't know if the gun does less ammo or not. Or less ammo. I don't know if the gun does less damage or not. I have no idea. If anyone wants to find out and tell me, that's great. Because I'm probably not going to look at it myself because I can't be bothered. But yeah, I'm mildly curious about that. As I say, you didn't miss anything on the run. Okay. The handgun parts, they're quite interesting the way they work. Basically, when you combine them with the actual gun, you fully restore your ammo that's in the gun. So essentially you can get up to 18 bullets for free. So I'm going to hold on to these and not use them just yet. I don't believe I need anything else at this point. There's another ink ribbon here, by the way. I won't be taking it. I have 7 already, so I'm going to be fine for most of the game, to be honest. But they're there if you want them. Immediately under attack, it seems. And things have kind of gone to shit over here. That guy's on fire. Yes, that corridor is blocked by fire, basically. So, funnily enough, you can't go that way yet. So you have to go into this door instead, I guess. This door, by the way, goes back to the office on the first floor with the safe, if you remember that from earlier. Yeah, the first time I ever played this game, I did a little bit of a wee at that part. Quite creepy. Not creepy's not really the right word. Scary, I guess, works. Yeah, this is the helicopter that's crashed and was blocking the corridor from earlier. So we're going to have to find a way to put that out, I guess. And as we'll see here, this is a water pressure valve. And excessive pressure might rupture the tank, which would be quite convenient. So we're going to need something to basically rupture the tank. So I guess we're going down here. And yes, we're back outside, but in a different area. With more zombies. Again, you can run past these guys. And I think this guy I'm going to run past. Why not? I think all of the rest of them, actually, because they're not really difficult to outrun, to be honest. You just go around to the side here and there's no problem. Into this little shack. Not Shaquille O'Neal, I mean Shaq as in CK, not Q. So there's nothing here. There's a door there, which we'll try in a second. And a valve handle. This, of course, will be used to rupture the tank, as you can imagine. So really not a difficult puzzle at all, but it stretches the game out a bit, doesn't it? And some ammo, of course, which is always useful. And another ink ribbon and another typewriter. I will take the ink ribbon, why not? This will probably keep us set for the rest of the game, hopefully. And so here's a fun fact. So you're probably just going to go straight to the door here. But if you're a little bit more observant, you check the window. Zombies are inside, and then 2 exclamation marks, which I never quite understood. Yeah, if you go through the door, this happens. That my belief is that's one of the most effective kind of scare scenes in the whole series, because for at this point a full game and a bit essentially, Resident Evil 1 Resident Evil 1 and this one I couldn't see and I got fucking caught. Okay, I guess we're just going to go down this way. There we go, we got past them. We should have just killed them, to be honest. But yeah, for basically a game and a bit, we've been taught that door opening scenes are safe. If you go to a door, you're safe. At least while the door opens, you know. that completely subverts your expectations, and you're like, oh shit, even the fucking doors aren't safe. This part of the game, I think, is probably the scariest, actually. The birds followed by that. Very effective stuff, particularly for a PS1 title. It's scary in a different way to other classic horror games like Silent Hill and things like that. Those games are more psychological and slow burning. Very few jump scares in those games, if any. This game is a little bit more Hollywood in the way it scares people, but it's a different kind of terror and a different kind of horror, but it works, just in a very different way. So yeah, I've always liked those scenes. Very effective stuff. Anyway, if you want to go to the actual helicopter itself, there's ammo inside, so make sure you take that. But yeah, we'll basically be able to go around to the other side of that corridor, and now we have to run through this corridor full of birds. So that'll be fun. I believe they're crows, if I remember rightly. But yeah, they're not particularly difficult to outrun. If you need to, if there's still health in that patio area, you can go through that door and pick it up. Unfortunately, I took it all earlier, so I have to go back to the box. But I've got to do that anyway, so it's not really a big deal. So I'm kind of cheating here because I know what the puzzle coming up next is, but the valve handle you don't need for a long time, so you can put that back. Ink ribbons as usual, back in the box they go. I'll take a green herb because I'm hurt again. And we'll be needing these, basically. The virgin hearts, we'll be using them in a second. Also earlier I reloaded my gun and forgot I had these. So I kind of technically sort of wasted ammo, maybe. But yeah. Needless to say, I'll be doing that. I won't be reloading my gun until I actually use the handgun parts. There is still a zombie here, although he's not on fire anymore. Which kind of implies the fire went out by itself, which is a bit strange. Again, you don't have to kill this guy, but you might as well, to be honest. Wow, that got completely obliterated. Yeah, you won't be going through there anytime soon. And you can see the driver there. He is quite dead. But this door managed to just about remain unscathed, which it turns out is quite fortunate. First things first, more hidden stuff. There's shotgun shells in this corner, so make sure you take those. And there's also a glinty object here. Diamond key. Very useful. So the virgin hearts, they go in here basically. I'll show you the descriptions of the items, I guess. Tyrannus the Brave revives with 2 lights, and these hold about the size of a fist. If you search the item and it's called Virgin Heart, it's pretty obvious what you have to do. Did you expect something to happen then? Okay, so with the diamond key, we now have access to several more areas. More specifically, the double-sided mirror room we was at earlier. We can now open the other side of the mirror. And, of course, the room near the dark room, basically. In that same corridor, there's also another room. And as you can see on the map, it appears to connect to the room that Marvin was in. The Will Smith dude. So it looks like we can finally get to the other side of that room and check on Marvin, which is going to be useful for us, hopefully. I think, yeah, we're going to call that a part, I believe, because we're running quite late on the old time here. Although it's going to be less because I'm editing the video. Sorry, I'm just talking aloud to myself. I don't know why. Anyway, we'll save that here. And we'll call that a part. So next time, we're going to open the 2 locked doors that we previously had no access to. And we're going to see the fate of our friend Marvin. He didn't look too good, but hopefully he'll pull through. Fingers crossed, because we kind of need the help here. we're under a lot of stress in this zombie-filled situation that we're in. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the part, and we'll be back for part 3 soon. Till then, bye.